This is Rob Tubbett for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined here today by unbeaten lightweight sensation Teofimo Lopez. We're here in Las Vegas at the Tom Schwartz Tyson Fury final weigh-in. Sorry, I got that back to front, but that's fine. How you doing, Teo?
Great, like a champ. Over here training, and I always do my camps here in Vegas, so what better way also to enjoy the weekend and to watch Tyson Fury put on another great, amazing show.
Now, before we come on to you, let's just talk about that. Tyson Fury defending his lineal heavyweight title against Tom Schwartz. Been quite the media frenzy this week. There's been media from all over the world. What have you made of that?
I think it's amazing. I think it's great for the boxing fans. I think it's great for the boxing media as well, because the way his character is, he's very he's a great guy. He has great energy and he has a lot of charisma. So just like me in a sense, you know. So I love that. I love to see fighters like that and entertain not just the fans but the media, to have everybody hyped up for these type of fights that he's having, especially come tomorrow night.
Who's more entertaining, Tyson Fury or Teofimo Lopez?
He says they say the takeover for him, but he says that he calls himself he took over and I'm the takeover. So you can say like mini me Tyson right here, Tyson Fury.
Okay, we'll give you that one. As I say, I'd like to to talk about you really. I mean, you're somebody who has got such a growing reputation in the sport. You're one of the hottest prospects in any weight category across world boxing. Let's just dial it back.
Yep.
Let's talk about, I mean, you have an extensive amateur career. Talk to me about, I was party to a conversation just off camera. We were talking about when you were 6 years old in the gym. We'll come on to that, but tell me about kind of your pathway into boxing. What led you to want to box?
What led me to want to box, it wasn't really like my father forcing me or anything. It just happened naturally, I would say. And why I said it is because my father was fighting he was doing it for himself. But he would always take me everywhere. Even back in New York, he would take me to Gleason's, he would take me to Red Hook, he would take me to all these gyms and just to be there, because he had to take care of me as well when my mom was at work or anything, or watching the girls. I have two sisters that are older. So he would just take me as a little boy, and when we moved to Florida at the age of 6, we moved right by a boxing gym, and he went to the coach and said, hey, listen, I want to start, I want to work out here and train, and I'm looking forward to, really taking this serious. My father's 30 at the time. At that age, and you're trying to start, it's kind of too late. And I was there with him, and my dad told the coach, hey, listen, can you watch my son for a second? I got to go park the limousine. My father was a limousine driver back then. And by the time my dad came back, the coach was like, hey, put on some gloves. Me as a young kid and everything, I had nothing to do. I said, okay. I went. By the time my dad came back, which was probably like roughly 5 minutes to 10, I learned about 2-3 combinations just like that. And from that point on, my father hung up his gloves and was like, I'm going to dedicate everything to my son. And that's where we are 17 years later. About 17 years later, we're here.
A lot of boxers who I talk to always talk about kind of being bitten by the bug of boxing. The first time they go into the gym, kind of the spit and sawdust of going into a gym, it captures them and then it never leaves them. Was that what it was like for you?
Yeah. I think it was just something that took me by surprise, and it was just everything that took months or years to learn. Just months. Things that took months to learn, it took me like days or a week. Literally, double M bags, speed bags, 1, 2, 3s, the basics, everything, footwork, and I learned everything. And it was crazy. And I ended up starting to spar the week after. Got my butt whooped, but I learned from it, and that was the best thing. My father never gave up on me. I wanted to quit so many times. I'm done. But I don't know, there was always something in me that just didn't really want to quit the sport of boxing, and I don't quit, And thanks for him not ever giving up on me. And over here, it's going to be Happy Father's Day, so that's something that I'm definitely going to do for my father, something special.
You have a great relationship with your father. I mean, just from watching the sport and covering the sport, your father is, let's say, an interesting man. He's eccentric. He's not shy of the camera. What was it like growing up with him away from boxing? What type of man is he away from the boxing gym?
Great father. He's a great role model on top of that, and he's a great father, man. A lot of people may not like the way he is and how outspoken he is, but it's all from what he's seen and what he's experienced. And it's nothing to be biased about with me. My father he liked the fight with Tyson Fury and Deontay. He loved it. He was off on the edge of his seat, like, yeah. He was excited about that fight, and he truly felt that Tyson Fury won the fight. My father's a fan and he has this huge passion for the sport of boxing. But, with me, he sees a whole different style, a whole different way of looking at things. But overall, my father outside of the ring is amazing. We talk, we laugh. He's my best friend at times, and that's someone that I want to become when I become a father. In the father standpoint. He's proud of me. In what I'm doing, and at the same time, like, me doing my dream, he's living through it as well. So it's something that I appreciate a lot that I could do, and I'm thankful that God could give me this gift to make things happen, for not just for him, but for my family and for my wife now.
What type of kid were you at school? I mean, you started boxing very, very young. A lot of fighters who I speak to who started boxing when they were very young don't really take school that seriously because they wanted to box. Were you like that, or was it kind of some other fighters who I speak to, their parents make sure that they're good at school because fighting or playing football or soccer, etc., is not a stable career all the time? What were you like?
I was the type, look, I wouldn't get in trouble. Even though people knew exactly that I was a fighter or anything, they would never try to mess with me. I had a kid once, 3rd grade. He tried that, and I hit him. I hit him bad, knocked him down, timber. He was tall. But anyways, I finished school. I actually graduated when I was 17. I graduated high school and everything when I was 17. I actually did homeschool. And my father took me out of regular high school. He took me out of regular public school after 9th grade year. And I did the rest of the 3 years homeschooling. And I did that all in a year. I did that all in a year. And I graduated in 2014.
How is that different, homeschool to public school? What's different about it? Obviously, apart from the fact that you don't actually go to school, what's different about it?
You get to know yourself a lot better. What I did. Not a lot of people can say that, but for me, I got to understand myself as not just as a fighter, but myself as an individual, as a human being, and I got to understand what's my priorities. I got my priorities straight. Friends, they come and go. But when you have things straightened when it comes to your career and everything, that's when things matter the most, and the things that it could change your life, and those are things that I took into, and I was great I was happy that my father did that afterwards, and I thanked him because of that. I got to know myself in all of that, and honestly, yeah, it was a great thing that I needed, and now we're here. Honestly, I've matured much more, and I've actually understand what I need to do to become the world champion and to become the people's champion.
You're of Honduran descent,
yes.
Of Honduran background. How much has that played a part in your life? Obviously, you boxed for Honduras in the Olympics. Explain to me the cultural differences between Honduras and American.
Well, I was born in New York, so they would say American Honduran. Honestly, out there in Honduras, it's a third world country, so it's poor out there and it's very rough. They love the sport of soccer. They love it with a passion. Even though they may not be as great or as good, but they love it, and they respect what they love to do. And also they are big fans for boxing as well. But they never had a champion come out of there. And I could be, if not, I am going to be the first to be their champion, just as much as in the U.S., Spain. I'm also Spaniard. So Teofimo Lopez actually comes from Spain. My grandfather was from Spain, and that's why we come out with all 3 flags. Not just USA, Honduras, but also Spain. And it's just great. I have these opportunities at a young age too to make history. Andy Ruiz, when he fought Anthony Joshua, despite everything that Anthony Joshua was going through, we don't know exactly mentally and stuff like that, it could get to you. My last fight, I was going through stuff mentally, and that's why I said that camp was hard that time around when I fought Etta Sadley back in April 20th when Amir Khan fought Crawford. So, but whatever it was, Andy Ruiz became the first heavyweight champion for Mexico. Even though he was born in the U.S. and everything, but still. And those are things that he made history, and I'm pretty sure, and I know, as long as God gives me health, that this year I will make history for Honduras.
Honduran food, Spanish food, or American food? Which one?
All of them. All of the above. I love food. if you just pick one, you don't love food. I love it all. That's why I don't go up so much, but I'm a food man. I love it. I love food and sleep. That's all it is.
Now you've got one of the most eye-catching styles in all of boxing. Very flashy.
I do.
You do. You do as well. Where did that come from? Were you inspired by any fighters growing up? Was that something that you just kind of worked on yourself?
Yeah, you work on yourself with experience, with the losses that you take and the wins that you take. Obviously, the amateurs, I made it to the highest pinnacle of the sport in the amateur boxing, and that was the Olympics. I learned a lot from everything, but definitely studying the greats, definitely studying the ones that will show you what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of them, like I said, I looked up to was Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, the way he was how smooth and slick he was. Muhammad Ali, obviously the great. And so many other fighters out there. The list goes on and on. Marvis Hagler, Roy Jones Jr., Oscar De La Hoya. It's a lot of guys, man. And that's the goal, to be up there with them. Roberto Duran, Alexis Arguello, because of Central America. So, things like that. And I'm Central American as well. So that's definitely things that motivate me, and I learn from all those guys. And for them, if it wasn't for them paving the way for all of us, none of us that are here today in this era of the sport of boxing wouldn't be so great without those guys.
Talk to me about your decision to turn professional. Very young when you turned professional. Was that always the plan? Was it always the plan to be a professional fighter as soon as possible? No. I mean, there's a point in time where you just take the sport as you go with the flow and you see where you end up. And little did I know, I had the gift and I had the talent to do all this. And I noticed that at 13 I had a pro-like style. I was never the favorite in the amateurs. I had 150 wins, 20 losses. So I've tasted defeat. I know how it is and everything. Never been stopped. Never had 8 counts. I got a good chin. People haven't noticed, but and things like that. And we barely got hit. But the thing was, I just always had that pro-like style. So that's why I feel more comfortable and happier being here in the pro game, and I'm excited, and I feel like this is my home now. Back then, even making it to the amateurs, to the highest pinnacle, like I said, the Olympics, the Olympic Games, even with that pro-like style, I still made it there. So imagine what Teofimo's going to do come now that he's comfortable and he feels at home. Winning the U.S. Olympic trials. But still, they still did not give me my chance to represent USA because they gave it to someone else under the table. But politics come involved with all this. How did that make you feel?
It showed me, it hurt. I won the National Golden Gloves here, which is the second toughest thing to win in the U.S. The National Golden Gloves, I won it here in 2015. I won the Olympic qualifiers to make it to the Olympic trials and outstanding male boxer of the whole tournament. And then I made it to the Olympic trials, won the Olympic trials. So winning that whole year, everything that I had to win, on top of the National Golden Gloves and so on and so forth, and for them just say, nope, we have someone else, Teofimo. We appreciate you winning the U.S. Olympic trials, but we got this guy. And it sucks, but what it taught me was that nothing in life is promised. No matter what they say they're going to do for you or what they're going to have, don't have high hopes for it, because they could switch it in a matter of a split second.
How do you handle the expectation of being such a young professional and having these great expectations on you? I mean, as I mentioned earlier, you are one of the hottest prospects in the sport, not to give you a big head, but how do you manage that expectation? Do you go with the flow? Do you block it out? Does it give you that confidence boost? What's that like for you?
Honestly, and you could talk to anyone outside of the boxing world if they ever meet me. I do not, I don't know if this is a bad thing or not, I do not see myself as that, how people see me. And I know and I appreciate all you, it comes with hard work, but I don't see myself as that. I don't put myself in a high pedestal like that. I've been humbled 3 times by God. And for me, I believe that. Why saying this is because I've had through experience in amateurs, I've won a couple fights, had people come and follow me, and then I lose because I thought I had it all, and I got big-headed. Not once, but 3 times. And so I know at this point now, I learned my lessons, and I know that whatever is given to me, whatever I earned, I don't think that, oh, I'm the, like my stuff don't stink. I actually treat myself as we still have things to do. We still have to keep moving. We have to keep going forward. So to me, I don't get big-headed. And to me, I just try to entertain all the fans, to entertain all you guys, and to do what I have to do and what I love to do. And that's be the best in what I do, and that's boxing.
Now, I can already tell from just speaking to you for these last 10, 15 minutes that you're, like most boxers are, obsessed with the sport and with the sport that you've given your life to and dedicated your life to. What do you do away from boxing? Do you to calm you down or take you away from the sport? Because I mean, you can't focus on boxing 24/7. What are you like away from the gym or away from the ring?
That's the thing. Like, my father is very passionate, so it's 24/7 for him, even when I'm done fighting. And he always wants to work on new things. And at this point now, in this point in my career, it's not only is it could be stressful at times, but it's also, you got to understand that you're not just an athlete. You're more than that. That's why LeBron James would say more than an athlete. It's for a reason. We have to also have our personal life. And these are things that I take now, and I travel with my wife, and I go different places. I got married 3 days after my fight. On April 20th, I got married April 23rd, and then we ended up going on a cruise. Me and her had never been on a cruise, and that was a great experience. So I do things like that. After this fight, July 19th, against Masayoshi Nakatani at the MGM National Harbor in D.C., it'll be live on ESPN Plus on the Plus app, so don't miss it. My first main event. After that, me and her are planning on going to the Philippines and traveling, just enjoying. And I think that's good. I need that time, and this time around, camp is definitely much better and different. And I'm telling you, it's like you guys thought that you've guys seen greatness, or like Teofimo has the goods. You haven't seen anything yet.
You mentioned that you like to travel and you like to get around. One place that I would love you to travel is over to the UK, which is where I'm from. Growing a little bit of a fan base there. I think people see the highlight reels, and obviously we've got several lightweights around. We've got Luke Campbell, who's going to be fighting for Lomachenko. Do you have any plans to come to the UK anytime soon?
Actually, I do. I do have plans to come to the UK, and I'm actually going to go to June 28th to, if everything goes well and everything, and if they can make it happen, see the Richard Comey fight against Ray Beltran. And then I believe it's August 31st. In the UK, Luke Campbell and Lomachenko, you guys will see me there. So I would definitely, this is my one-on-one with all you guys. And I know you guys are amazing and true, die-hearted fans. And I love the UK. It kind of sucks that I couldn't have the opportunity to fight there with Luke Campbell for the WBC. But I'm pretty sure down the line, once we are champion and we get to call the shots, we'll make a fight happen, definitely in the UK.
What do you make of that fight, Luke Campbell versus Vasyl Lomachenko? I know Luke Campbell fairly well, obviously being from our neck of the woods. I understand you've done some sparring in the past.
Yeah. He's a great guy, man. Overall, he's a great guy, humble dude. And honestly, yeah, we sparred a couple times. We sparred about like 5 times, I would say. And even when he was about to fight Jorge Leonares, same thing. And he's a hell of a talent, man. And, it would have been a great fight. But I think him and Loma, it's a good fight, and it's a dangerous fight for Loma. And I as long as Luke keeps doing what he's doing and doesn't let the hype get to him or anything that people are saying, he will definitely become world champion for the WBC and for the other 2 belts.
Do you think people are overlooking Luke Campbell going into that fight? Vasyl Lomachenko is arguably the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world. A lot of people consider him to be that. Do you think a lot of people are overlooking Luke Campbell?
Yeah, absolutely. Luke Campbell has a resume, 2012 Olympic gold medalist, and things like that. He's a hell of a champion. He's earned a spot, and now he has it. And that's a guy that is definitely in it to win it all, and he has nothing to lose. He literally doesn't have nothing to lose. So when you have a fighter that has nothing to lose, it's a dangerous fighter. And I think that you can't underestimate no fighter, and you just can't. And I think that Luke Campbell has a great opportunity, a great shot on it. And I think that Luke Campbell, if you match Anthony Corolla and Luke Campbell is beyond, above Anthony Corolla. And so you can't really say that Loma's just going to go in there, grab his belt, and walk away. No. I've been there with Luke Campbell, and I know what he has to. I know what he could do.
What can he do?
What can he do? He's gonna give Lomachenko problems. I believe that he's gonna give Lomachenko problems and give more flaws and show more flaws of Loma, And Luke is tall, and Luke he knows how to keep his distance. He's very smart. He's very intelligent, and he has a good ring IQ. And I give him all my props. May the best man win. I hope that he has a shot now. And I know he's working really hard, and may he just put on for his fans in the UK. I will definitely be there.
A lot of the talk surrounding you has been obviously the fact that you want to fight for a world title, whether that's Vasyl Lomachenko, Richard Commey or Ray Beltran, whoever wins that fight. So many guys. There's also talk about you moving to 140. How do you do the weight at 135? Are you good at the weight? I know it's not easy for any fighter to make any weight, but how well do you make lightweight?
Horrible. It was tough last fight. Last fight was tough, definitely tough, and that's why we have nutritionists this time around, professional nutritionists this time around that are actually right here watching me and making sure that I drink my water at a certain time and every hour drink this much and things like that. And it's only been a week, and I'm already feeling great. I'm looking good, training great, and I feel more energized. And it's just these people perfecting athletes. They're the nutritionists also for Terrence Crawford, for Shakur Stevenson, Michaela Mayer, who fights tomorrow on the undercard of Tyson Fury. So many people, Jamel Herring. And at 140, I know that I'm definitely going to be, my body's already ready for 140. You know what I mean? But we're trying to hold it down and see if I could last for 9 more months at 135. So we can make a potential fight, whether it's with Luke Campbell or Lomachenko for all 4 belts. And right now it's one step at a time, and we see how I feel during my fight July 19th, and so on and so forth.
We talk about 140 pounds fight. I'd like to get your opinion on 140 pound Regis Prograis versus Josh Taylor, World Boxing Super Series final. I don't know how well you know both guys, but what do you make of that fight?
Well, I fought on Regis' card back in July in New Orleans. So I've seen him fight and everything. Guy that comes in, closes the gap, and goes for the body a lot. Josh Taylor, he beat Ivan Baranchik, for the title. And I think it's a great matchup. Both guys are in it to win, obviously, and they definitely want these belts. They have both now, and they could unify. They are unifying. And you have Joshua Ramirez with Jose Ramirez with Maurice Hooker, fighting as well, and then these guys could definitely have an undisputed fight, whoever wins out of the 4, and make it 2, and definitely these are great fights that are happening in the WBSS, the World's Boxing Super Series. There it is. It's a great opportunity for everybody, and Josh Taylor, I haven't really watched a lot of him. I haven't watched him a lot, but I know that him beating Ivan, who is my stablemate when it comes to managing and everything, from our managers and everything, then he's a hell of a fighter. It's gonna be a good fight.
Okay, well, before we go, there's one more question I'd like to ask you. This is more from me than anybody else. The behind the back shot.
Yes.
Talk to me about that. I don't see that very often. We talked about Roy Jones Jr., Pernell Whitaker. They're very unorthodox. I don't think I can recall seeing that before. Talk to me about that.
You got to be different. I did it once at Mayweather's gym, sparring some cat, and he was southpaw. And I was like, you know what? I think I could do this. And he threw his jab. No, he threw his left hand, and I dipped, and I just threw it right behind and caught him in the stomach, and he kind of felt it, so he bent a little bit, and I was like, oh my. And I was like, it worked. So in sparring, sometimes I do some crazy things, but it ends up looking good. So when I fought Diego Magdaleno, I don't do things unless I'm 100% sure I could do it. So after a while, I adapted to him, and I made sure, and I was like, all right, I could do it. And I did it, and everybody was just like, whoa. And I was like, whoa. It actually worked. And it's just things that comes out of my head, man. You got to be creative, and I'm glad. I think I am the first to do that.
I've actually forgotten about something. Devin Haney. Devin Haney's just signed with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, so he's getting a lot of exposure over in the UK at the minute. It's a fight that I know has been talked about down the line as a potential super fight between yourself and Devin Haney. Yeah. Talk to me about Devin Haney.
Devin Haney, yes, he still has a lot of room to grow. You know, he's a little bit younger than me, but it also shows the fact that his performance, whatever they say, they loved it and everything. But that's one of how many I've done. You know, I think he has a lot more room to prove. So do I. I still have to prove myself, and I still have to prove to everyone else that everything that I am saying, I'm gonna do. You know, and it's definitely a great fight and a potential fight that could happen in a couple years. Definitely, and you never know. We could do it here. The Raiders Stadium is coming out next year. I would definitely love to us fight there. You know, instead of having a T-Mobile or at the MGM. But let's see what happens, man. Vegas with money, anything can happen.
Okay, well, Teofimo Lopez, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Go on.
But you know, also the UK. It's a definitely easy way, actually. It's an easy way because Top Rank with Matchroom Boxing, with Eddie Hearns and everything, we actually make things work. You know, so I think that that's another place that we can make a fight happen.
Well, if you do, I'll be there. Teofimo Lopez, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. I'm sure they will. Been a real pleasure. Thanks very much. Look forward to seeing you in action soon. Congratulations on your wedding. There he is. Unfortunately, ladies, he's now taken. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you, guys. Hey, like I said, the takeover. Teofimo here for the present and the future of the sport of boxing. Thank you, guys. Much love to all you guys in the UK. Thank you.